Hello, Africa, and welcome to Impact Stories on AAU TV. AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa. Today, we are going to celebrate one illustrious daughter of Africa. My name is Irene Dufie Addai, and I'm going to be your host for today's discussion. We'll go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll start with our conversation. Do stay tuned.
Dumela ma Africa amahle.
Magadini Mose.
Hola a todos.
Bonjour.
Na gaiswa.
Goeiedag.
Salibonani lonke.
Mulibwanji.
Hello.
We are
Africa University.
Africa University has brought the US to me where I couldn't go, and now is taking Africa to the world. And I am Africa.
As a community of diverse cultures and languages, Africa University is passionate about moving the agenda of Pan-Africanism. Africa University, the dream is alive.
I'm studying medical laboratory sciences on the STEM scholarship. Africa University has the best malaria research lab in the entire country. So if you're interested in lab sciences or conducting any sort of research, then Africa University is the place to be.
Africa University is the school of hope in the Valley of Dreams. Come and join me. We're gonna make Africa better than before.
You might have not been to all the African countries. Come to Africa University and see Africa happening every day. An institution that offers a world-class education system.
Are you thinking of being a global person? Thinking of enhancing your business and leadership skills? Why not choose Africa University?
As a working mother and a wife, through one of its many flexible programs, Africa University has afforded me an opportunity to pursue my master's degree in intellectual property.
Their sporting backgrounds are as varied as their nationalities. Some have represented their countries and have received awards in the process. Enroll with us for our March or August intakes. Africa University, investing in Africa's future.
Welcome back. In case you just tune in, this is Impact Stories on AAU TV. And my guest for today's conversation is Professor Aba Appiah Amfo, who is a Pro Vice-Chancellor, Academic and Student Affairs of the University of Ghana. Thank you, Madam, for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Dufie.
Yes, it's a great opportunity to have you, a woman of such caliber, in such a position. We know how it's difficult for women to get into such a position, and you are here and doing it well. So we are proud of you.
Thank you for your compliments.
Yes. We want to know more about you. We want to take you back to the memory lane. We want to know how you get here, how you go to the top, because this is a big office and it is handled by you. So we want to know about your family growing up. Where did you grow up? Who were your siblings? And if you would remember anything, any fond memories of your childhood.
Okay. Well, I was born in Kumasi in the early 1970s.
Right.
And so we lived there for 4 years. I mean, from the time I was born, right. About 4 years. And then we moved, that's my family, we moved to the Western region, first to Sekendi Takrady, where my parents were teachers to start with, and then my father went into sports administration. Right. So when we moved to Sekendi Takrady, he moved as the regional sports, he took up a position as a regional sports organizer there. So we were there in Sekendi Takrady. We lived in Sekendi, and I schooled in Takrady. Okay. My mother was also teaching in Takrady at Vijay Secondary School. Wow. Yeah. So in Kumasi, I only attended preschool nursery. Right. So that was at KNUST, then UST, because my mom was teaching at their secondary school at the time. Okay. Yeah. So I officially started school, kindergarten, in Takrady Services Primary. And so I was there from kindergarten 1 to up to the end of stage 4 then.
Okay.
And then my parents moved again to Takwa. My dad went to work at the Takwa Goldfields. Okay. So we moved to Takwa. So I continued from there at Goldfields Schools Complex, sat for the common entrance, and from there went to Holy Child School for my A-level. Yeah, did my A-level at Archbishop Porter Girls, and then came to University of Ghana.
Oh, that's great. Any fond memories of your childhood?
Okay, yeah, I think I missed out on the bit about my siblings. Yeah. So I was, well, now I'm the first of 4. Great. 4 siblings or 4 children from my parents. Originally I was a second child, but we lost my brother when I was in primary school. Okay. Yeah, so I have another sister and 2 brothers. Growing up was interesting. We have quite a close-knit family. My father would dote on his daughters, right. And I remember one of the things that I enjoyed doing was when we were in secondary Takrady, my daddy would go and he was a sports person, so would go and play tennis, and we will have to, tie his lace for him when he's going, and then when he comes back, I'll take one, one foot, another sibling would take another foot, and then we would untie that. Occasionally he would take us to the sports stadium, and I enjoyed those moments, when I'll tag along with my dad.
Did it really shape you into becoming somebody who likes sports because your dad used to take you?
Unfortunately not. I tried some tennis, but I didn't really last long there. I just walk. I don't do, I never did any serious sports in school. Right. I don't know how it turned out. Even though all my siblings swam, I didn't. It just didn't work for me.
Right. But you enjoy watching or sports or anything?
I do. I not with the passion that my dad, or even my husband or my son does. But yes, I love watching tennis when I can make the time for, and well, I love to walk.
That's good. It's good exercise. So running back to University of Ghana, you offered linguistics and French. Yes. What motivated you to take such a course? Because I'm sure everybody's parents want them to be a doctor, a lawyer, and
of course. I went along that path too. I'm sure at some point in time, wanted to be a doctor, a lawyer. By the time I was due for university, I wanted to do administration. Right. But I remember that in the 6th form, there was a teacher, I don't really remember what happened, but I remember this teacher, telling me that I should do linguistics. I had no idea, of course, like most people then, what linguistics was about. Yeah, but I applied to come to the university. I applied to do administration. I was offered English, French, and linguistics. And I came in, started to do it, and by the end of the first year, I was very certain that I wanted to pursue this even further. Okay. Yeah.
So who did you look up to as at that time when you were making such decisions on academics? This is what I want to study. Was there someone in mind that you wanted to follow?
Well, when I came to the first year, at the linguistics department, we had some amazing lecturers, which included Professor Florence Dolphine. As you know, the first female Pro Vice-Chancellor of this university. It included then Dr. Obing, now Professor Obing, Professor Buidi, and others, including Professor Yanka. And these were, teachers who taught with a passion, and they just made you fall in love with the subject. Apart from that, I had some seniors, who I remember Dora, and others who were then in the final year, and they encouraged me that, well, this was a good course to pursue, and
you did it.
Yes, I did
that's
that.
Fine.
And of course, I mean, I realized that I loved it, I remember my roommate was also doing linguistics and English. She was a mature student. She had been to Winneba, University of Education, Winneba, where they had already done some linguistics, and there were a few people in the class like that. So they already had some knowledge about that. And well, but somehow I was just good at it, and then they would even tease me, do you go for extra classes or something like that in linguistics? So I just found my passion, and I pursued it.
That's great. You went on to Norway to do your master's.
Yes.
Why? What was the reason? Because I think you could have done it here in Ghana. So did you get a scholarship? Did you get anything to study outside?
Well, I'm sure that you won't be able to preempt my answer. I went to Norway to marry.
Oh, that's interesting.
At the time when I completed my first degree, I completed in June, back then June 1996. Got traditionally married in August of that same year. And my husband was then a master's student in Norway. When we were dating, that wasn't really the plan, you know, but things happened, and then I had to join. I had to join him. So when I went to Norway, it was for marriage, not for school. Yes, not for school. But but I had in mind that I had my plan in mind, in the sense that I wanted to pursue linguistics, you know, do my do my master's, do my PhD. So I went ready to look out for schools and then to pursue my education. So that's how I landed in Norway in the first place. And fortunately, I found a school that did linguistics. It wasn't in the same city that my husband was studying, but at least it was in the same country. And then fortunately, against all odds, I was offered a scholarship.
Oh, that's great. How difficult was it, since you were married, combining your marriage and then your education? Because I mean, probably kids might come in somewhere.
Yes, kids did come in. Kids did come in, So, yes, I started my master's in August of 1998. And my first child, my son, was 4 months old. Exactly 4 months old when I started. And as you know, over there, my mom is not there. Yes, my auntie is not there, and so on. So it was just me, my husband, and the baby. It wasn't at all easy. I mean, we had our fair share of challenges, but it was the determination. It was the planning, you know, and it was the grace and the favor of God, you know, such that whatever effort that I put in was blessed by the Lord. So it yielded, you know, the necessary results, even more than more than anticipated. But it really calls for a lot of planning. I'm generally quite an organized person, so that also helped a lot. So, for instance, whenever we were given assignments, I just made sure that at the next available time, even if you gave me a month, at the next available time, I would finish it, yes, because you have a baby. If you wait till the last minute, you know, the baby decides to get a fever, the baby decides, you know, not to sleep, and so on. So it was really, it wasn't easy, but yeah, my husband too was extremely supportive. We had to do this together, and so that is how I managed it. I did have another baby while I was doing my master's.
You were not relenting.
No, not at all. Not at all. I made sure that for every degree that I had a corresponding baby to
it. That's interesting. And you went on to do the PhD too.
Yes.
With I think about 2 babies now.
Oh, by the time I was going on to my PhD, there was a 3rd baby. I tell you, for every degree I should get a baby. So that is how it went. So after my master's, I came back to Ghana, yes, in 2001, and took up lectureship at the Department of Linguistics here at the University of Ghana, and so taught for 3 years thereabout. So in 2004, and I went back. So meanwhile, I had my 3rd child in 2002. So in 2004, went back to do my PhD.
Okay, so
at the same school.
At the same school. Did you go alone, or this time you went with your family too?
This time I went alone. I was fortunate to have an arrangement that, apart from the first year, so the first year I had to take some coursework. Right. So the first year I was almost fully there. I came for, I think, about a month in between. But so after the first year, I had this deal that I would spend 6 months here and 6 months there. So that was how
it was a bit flexible.
Yes.
For you.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So your husband was taking care of the kids while you were there studying.
Yes, and I mean, of course, my family also supported my parents. Then, you know, on holidays, the children loved to go to them. They loved to have the children, yes. But yeah, primarily my husband was the primary caregiver during those periods.
Yes. So talking about your work history, because you had already come to the University of Ghana to start as a lecturer, and then you went away. So you just came back to continue with your lecturing, or did you move out a little bit before coming?
No, I didn't move out. So, well, I was on study leave, you know, so I was obligated to the university anyway. So I completed in 2007 and resumed that same year at the University of Ghana. And that same year too, I applied for promotion to senior lecturer, and it was successful.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
It seems everything works for you when you try your hands on it. Has there been any challenges going through school, giving birth, doing the PhD, coming back to becoming a senior lecturer?
Well, maybe it's my outlook to life. So I kind of struggle to see the challenges. Maybe I even look at challenges as opportunities. And I also just keep the focus. Obviously, whatever you're doing, you know, you're going to face challenges. The fact that maybe I even had children, I married soon after my first degree, could have been a challenge to not pursuing, you know, higher education that quickly or that soon, you know. But I just saw maybe I see opportunity and everything, and I must say that I have been blessed to be surrounded by very supportive people, you know, right from my parents, my dad, you know, my dad, I told you, we're two sisters. My sister is a doctor, you know, currently with the WHO.
Okay.
My dad brought us up to make us feel that we can do anything that we wanted, to. Yes. So whatever I was trying my hands at, I wasn't thinking too hard. Sometimes I thought that maybe I was playing naive, you know, because for instance, when I was pregnant and then I was looking for a school to attend for my master's, I really wasn't thinking, okay, so hey, you're going to have a baby, your mom is not here, what are you going to do, how are you going to do it, you know. I just knew that this is what I wanted to do, and
so
I was
you're going to do it anyway.
And then my husband didn't also say, hey, what's wrong with you, you're pregnant, you're going to have a baby, and you want to go to school, how are we going to do it? So yes, I've been surrounded by very positive people, yes. Of course, it's not everyone who, you know, takes it lightly to a woman. You know, sometimes they look at you, you're a woman, you even look so young, and where do you think you're going? Where do you think you're going to? I just ignore all of those such people.
They tell you all the negative energy.
Exactly, you know, you have to disregard the negative energy. You know, it's our society is patriarchal, right? And so for some people, they don't even do it intentionally.
Yeah,
you know,
it comes to them naturally.
Yes, and why are you here? You know, they don't expect you to be in certain spaces, but if you are very confident, you know what you are doing, and you know, I mean, what your target is, you don't spend too much energies
listening to that.
Yeah,
that's very well. We want to talk about your books. We know that you've written a lot. We know that you have been in several publications, conferences and all of that. But which book do you think you really loved or enjoyed working on?
Okay, that's a tough one.
Yes, it is. Because I really want you to dig deep and then give me that one.
Yes, well, one of the things that I've done, which is quite recently, this was published in 2018, that was a course book for nurses and midwives, which is therapeutic communication for nurses and midwives. I like that book because of the direct impacts that it has, right? So this is a book which was commissioned by the Nurses and Midwifery Council, and it's being used in the training of nurses and midwives, you know, across the country. I'm sure that, you know, many of us have our own stories about how we went to the hospital and, you know, that nurse, you know, wasn't nice to us, even perhaps rude to us at the time when we were most vulnerable, you know. And you know that sometimes when you go to the hospital, the way somebody will talk to you alone, you know, was kind of, heal you 50% already. And so the fact that I have that opportunity to contribute directly into the lives of people in that way makes me like that one. I also like my works on language and gender, where we look at how through our own language we conceptualize, you know, gender, and we demonstrate that is demonstrated in how we are expectant of certain gender roles. So that's also very interesting for me, since I'm quite interested in the advancement of genders, particularly women, because we are currently the ones who are underrepresented in many professional domains.
We'll go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with our conversation. I'm here with Professor Aba Appiah Amfo. You can join our conversation on our Facebook page, Association of African Universities, on our YouTube page, Association of African Universities. Do stay tuned.
College Ghana. Call us or visit our website for more info.
Welcome back. In case you just tuned in, this is Impact Stories on AAU TV. And today we are privileged to be still talking to Professor Aba Appiah Amfo. Before we went on the break, Prof, we were talking about the publications you liked. Sure. And I think there is one that you didn't mention that we are expecting you to mention. And so,
okay, so the one of the publications or the areas of publications that I like very much also is the one on language and health, and particularly mental health and how we, I'm a linguist, so everything is situated in language. So there's one publication which is titled Insanity is from Home, the communication of mental health challenges in Akan. So I looked at, well, I did this with others, some collaborators in the health sciences. So I looked at how we communicate mental health challenges in our local language, in one of our indigenous languages, which is Akan. And when we do that, it gives us an idea of how we think about the mentally challenged in our societies and how we even treat them. And it was also instructive that we could find idioms, proverbs, expressions in our languages that we can use as a conduit for health education, and so that we can educate our communities as to how people with mental health challenges are supposed to be treated, so we can move away from the stigmatization and support people who find themselves in that kind of situation.
Yeah, I think it comes in handy because now there's a lot of awareness on mental health, and then how we respond or how we talk about it affects how our society perceives mental health. And so I think we need to talk more on that, and maybe if we can get the book or publications, we can give it to our studio so that we can further elaborate on that. And since we are still in your work history, we know as a lecturer, a lot of student passes through your hands. Who are those you are mentoring? Whether past, present, who are those people?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, you can see that I started teaching in 2001.
Yes.
Even so from my PhD, which is 2007, so it's after my PhD that I started to supervise seriously a lot of graduate students. And I have had the opportunity and the privilege to supervise some, brilliant young people who have, and a few of them are now even with us as faculty. So I'm very proud of people like Dr. Dorothy Japan. She's currently on a fellowship in the US. Dr. Reginald Dia, who is with us at the department. Dr. Obadele Kambon, who is at the Institute of African Studies. A very interesting guy. You should talk to him sometime. And it's not just the people that I've mentored, they're not just confined to the department. Within the school, I can talk about Dr. Sawenam Chachu, who is currently the head of the Department of French. And through nationwide, through the Linguistics Association of Ghana, I was the president, for some 4 years, actually led the revival of that association. So through that association too, I've gotten the opportunity to mentor linguists from around the country. And currently one of the initiatives that I am pursuing is the African Pragmatics Association.
So that
we had, we had our first conference here this year in August. Oh, no, not in August, in February.
In February
2020, where we officially launched the association. And so that then gives us the opportunity to interact and offer mentorship for pragmaticists. I'm a pragmaticist. There are those of us who are interested in language use in context, language and communication from around the world. I'm due to give a plenary speech to the Pragmatics Association of Nigeria. I gave a keynote address that was 2 years ago. And so through these networks, I get to interact with and provide mentorship for scholars across Africa. And then also one thing that I should talk about is the African Humanities Program, which is a program of the American Council of Learned Societies. I'm a fellow. I was one of the first postdoctoral fellows when this program was established in 2009, 2010, and I grew through the program to become a mentor, an assessor, and I'm currently the chair of the interim steering committee, because we are at the point where we are metamorphosizing into the African Humanities Association. We had our last regional assembly also earlier this year in February in Abuja, and so we are seeking to strengthen the networks within Africa. Bring together senior scholars, bring together junior scholars, so that we can share ideas and provide mentorship.
So how does it feel being a mentee? How does it feel? How does it make you feel when you are mentoring them? Because I know it's a passion of yours, but do you feel fulfilled doing that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's I think that's one of the joys of being a teacher or being a mentor. Earlier this week, I was on our Kolebu campus, you know, and one of the assistant registrars, female, you know, I asked her her name and she said, oh, you actually taught me. And there was another gentleman who is an assistant registrar, and well, that I knew, I remember that I taught him. And so we were just, you know, having conversation, laughing. I said, well, you should form an association of, you know, former students of Professor Amfo.
Yeah.
You know. So it's really exciting, you know, to go somewhere and to see people that you have taught, people that you have mentored.
Right.
Some of the colleagues that I mentioned earlier on, I am super proud of them when I see them there and I see their enthusiasm, the way they approach their work, and there's so much joy in that.
Yeah. I know the passion comes with some awards because definitely you are recognized in many places, in Ghana and Africa, in the whole world. And so I want to know which award really touched your heart when you received it. You knew that, okay, I have made it. Even if I don't get any award, I am okay with it.
Oh, there was one award that I had. It was a recognition. I was totally not expecting that, and this came from the Association of Hispanists. Yeah, so Hispanists are those who are interested in the study of Spanish, the Spanish language, and so on. So, I mean, I had been working with them, you know, supporting them to also support others, provide, you know, mentorship through their conferences and so on. So, and in their last conference, they gave me this award, this recognition, and as I said, that was something that came totally unexpected. And so, and you know, even the citation that came with it, we realized that people are really watching. People people recognize the things that you do, which, by the way, I do. I think I just do it as a matter of course. That it's part of my job. You know, I just have to do this. And so when you get those recognitions, that it also quite
it encourages
touching.
you to do more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so now we want to really shift the conversation a little bit. I think people want to know you personally. And so we want to know who is behind, or no, who is beside Professor Aba Amfo, who is your husband, and how did you meet? Because they really want to know. We know you were in Norway, but how did you meet?
Okay, so my husband is Frank Amfo.
Okay.
And actually today is the 5th, so on Sunday we would have been married. Okay, so the church wedding you know, would be 23 years.
That's nice.
Yeah, 23 years. He's a statistician by profession, but currently he runs his own business. Where did we meet? We met right here on this campus. He didn't school here. He went to KNUST.
Okay. We are doing well. We are doing well.
But we met on this campus. So yeah, he used to come here to visit his friends, and it happened that I also happened to be friends to a number of his friends, so it's like I'll meet him in this room, I'll meet him in that space, and we became friends, and the rest they say is history.
How many kids do you have? Because you were saying one for each degree, and so I'm thinking you have 3.
Yes, we have 3 children, Yofi, our son, and Mami Aba, 2 daughters, Mami Aba and Ifuabinwa.
I think you were copying your father, because you also have the girls.
My father had, I mean, it's my father actually had 3 sons and 2 daughters,
Yes.
yes.
So you were copying your dad with the daughters.
Yeah.
You also had 2 daughters.
Yeah, I had 2 daughters.
Do you enjoy sports?
Do I enjoy sports? As I told you, I tried swimming. I didn't last. You know, I tried tennis. I didn't last. So
Yeah.
I've just stuck to walking, and these days I don't even run. I just walk.
That's
Yeah.
good. Are you a religious person or somehow in between? And if you are, where do you belong?
So, well, I'm a Christian.
Okay.
Christian. I belong to an interdenominational church at Adenta Praise Community Church. Used to be Adenta Estate Community Church.
Okay.
So that's where I fellowship. And yeah, I'm quite well. I try to stay active. Yes, yes. The women's fellowship, you know, interpreting at church, and yes, I used to lead a Bible study, but I have retired.
So when we go to your house, what type of music will we hear you play? And do you do just gospel or you're all round?
Well, that's an interesting question, because recently we were talking about that at home.
Okay.
You know, my daughter was trying to tease out from the dad how well, you know, he knew me, and so she asked about music, and his response was that, yeah, well, I mean, gospel. He says that these days I like Dinah Joao Hamilton, but I usually listen to what he plays.
Okay.
You know, what he plays, and you know, he's the Andrew Crouch, the Don Moen, you know, type of person, Calvin Hammond, all that. So, well, if you come to my house and you hear music, it's mostly gospel, yes. But yeah, I also like some of these
new
young
artists.
Yes, young people, you know, Kwame Eugene.
Oh, okay. The wave is getting deep.
You know. Yes, and Kofi Kenata too.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's
enjoyed
good.
by everyone. Your favorite food?
My favorite food. My favorite food is okay. So there are 2 which will compete: gar kinky and pepper, hot pepper, and fish, and then apimam pisi.
I was getting disappointed when you said gar, because I'm looking at your name and where you come from. And you are saying gar kinky. I don't agree.
Yeah, I love gar kinky. Yes. And a pimam pesi too, and some incontumri.
I mean, if I want to come see you, I should be coming with some apim.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
And the gates will be open.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so we've really enjoyed talking to you. And mostly, this is a very important question we ask, and we want to know that, do you think where you are now, you would say you are a fulfilled person?
Oh, I would say I am fulfilled, but I would say that's not the end of the road.
Right.
I'm still reasonably young,
yes.
so long as God gives us strength and breath, I'm sure that there is a lot more that I can accomplish, and there's a lot more impacts that I can continue to have.
Yeah. And before we go, are there some people you really want to acknowledge who played who are still playing very important roles in your life?
Yes. I would like to acknowledge my supervisor, my master's and PhD. He supervised me for both my master's thesis and the PhD, and that's Professor Torstein Fretheim. He is Emeritus Professor of the Norwegian University of Science and Technology, an amazing mentor and friend and colleague. Right. Back home, you know, I would like to acknowledge my lecturers at the Linguistics Department, Professor Dolphine, Professor Akosua Anyidoho, who hired me when She was head of department. At that time, she was the only female. And so, hide me, I owe a lot. I owe a lot to her. Professor Kwesi Yanka, Professor Kweku Osam, you know, and other female professors here like Professor Herita Mensabunsu,
my director.
Professor Intiamwa Beid, you know. As I said, you know, people have just been so supportive and you know, you look up to these people, especially the women, you look up to them, you see what they have accomplished, and then you are also encouraged that you can do a lot.
Yeah.
They did it, and that is encouragement for you that you can do it, yes.
Right.
And so to all the female professionals out there, I know that it's a tough terrain, but we need to find each other and support each other, because we need more women in leadership in every area of our lives.
Yeah, and I think your office is the best
women in leadership
to achieve that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Prof, for joining us. It has been an insightful conversation with you, and we are grateful for your time and for joining us to share your life with us and the whole of Africa.
I'm grateful for this opportunity.
All right. Thank you for joining us on Impact Stories on AAU TV with Professor Aba Appiah Amfo, who is the Pro Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ghana. You can watch our programs on our dedicated channels, Association of African Universities on Facebook and then on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Today, we are going to celebrate an illustrious son of Ghana who is